All right, today we are taking a deep dive into the world of Zen Buddhism. We're going to try and unpack its really unique way of looking at reality, and more importantly, how to break free from the prisons we kind of build for ourselves in our own minds. So, how do you escape a prison that doesn't even have walls? Let's find out.
So let's start with this classic Zen saying. And right away, it sounds like a total paradox, doesn't it? It's describing this journey where you start somewhere, you go through this big change, and then you end up right back where you started. So, what gives? What actually changes?
That question, that's the mystery we're going to unravel today. Because, spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with the mountain changing. It's all about a massive shift in how we see the mountain, and, by extension, how we see everything else. This is a journey of perception.
To really get Zen's solution, we first have to wrap our heads around the problem it's trying to solve. And according to Zen, that problem, well, it's right between our own two ears.
You see, Zen suggests that most of us are living inside this self-made prison, this ego shell. All our constant thoughts, our anxieties, our plans, they stick to us. One Zen master described them as being like wet clothes, just heavy, cold, and stopping us from feeling the freedom that's supposed to be our natural state.
And Zen is pretty blunt about this mental junk, calling it intellectual nonsense and passional rubbish. Ouch. But this isn't just background noise. It's what creates this split inside us, this deep feeling of being trapped and in anguish. And here's the kicker. We can't just think our way out of it. Life is happening now. We don't have time to wait for some perfect, ultimate philosophical answer to land in our lap.
So, okay, if overthinking is the problem, what's the answer? Well, this is where we get to Zen's, let's say, unconventional methods for breaking free.
To shatter that ego shell, Zen basically takes a sledgehammer to our normal way of doing things. It completely distrusts pure logic and intellect, because hey, those are the tools that built the prison in the first place. Instead, it's all about direct, unfiltered, and, yeah, sometimes pretty shocking personal experience.
Get this story. There's a famous Zen master, Renzai. When he was just a young monk, he goes up to his teacher and asks this very sincere question. What is the fundamental principle of Buddhism? And for his trouble, he gets struck. So he asks again, gets struck again. Third time's the charm? Nope, struck again. Now the master wasn't just being a jerk. The whole point was to jolt Renzai out of his head, to stop him from thinking about the answer and push him to experience reality right here, right now.
And you can really see the difference in approach here, right? Traditional learning is all about building up knowledge, adding more and more information. The Zen path is kind of the opposite. It's about dismantling. It uses paradoxes and direct experience not to give you more answers, but to help you tear down the illusions that are blocking the view.
But, and this is a really critical point, the shouting, the weird questions, all of it, that's not actually Zen. It's just, as the famous saying goes, a finger pointing at the moon. It's so easy to get fascinated by the finger, by the method itself, but that's not the point. The goal is to look where the finger is pointing, towards a direct, personal encounter with the truth.
So where is all this strange training supposed to lead? It's all designed to build up pressure for one single life-altering moment, the breakthrough. In Zen, this moment is called Satori, and it's not some gentle, slow awakening. The old texts are much more dramatic. They call it a mental catastrophe, a sudden flash where the walls of the ego just crumble, and in a single instant, a new heaven is open to your full survey. It's a total reboot.
The story of Tokusan is a perfect illustration. This guy was a brilliant scholar. He knew all the texts, all the philosophies. You could say he was an expert on all the different fingers pointing at the moon. But he was deeply frustrated because he just couldn't see the moon itself. He couldn't grasp the core of Zen. So one night, his master finds him meditating in the pitch-black darkness. The master lights a candle, walks over, and offers it to him. And just as Tokusan reaches out to take this welcome light, his master leans in and blows it out, plunging him back into an even deeper darkness than before.
And right there, in that one shocking, totally nonverbal moment,
He got it. Satori. Enlightenment didn't come from a lecture or a book. It came from the raw experience of a candle being blown out. His endless intellectual search was completely short-circuited, and a much deeper, intuitive understanding just broke right through.
Okay, so what happens after a breakthrough like that? What does the world actually look like from the other side of Satori? Well, this brings us full circle, right back to the paradox we started with.
Here is the solution to that riddle. Stage 1.
Before Zen, you just see the world at face value. A mountain is a mountain. That's it. Stage 2, while you're studying Zen, you start to deconstruct everything. The mountain isn't a solid thing anymore. It's a concept. It's atoms. It's an illusion. Mountains are not mountains. But then, stage 3, after enlightenment, you look again, and mountains are once more mountains. You see the same ordinary thing, but now it's infused with a depth and a wonder you could never see before.
And that's the whole secret. The world doesn't change at all. You do. The experience just adjusts the hinge of your perception. You come back to the exact same life, but you see it with completely fresh eyes.
So what's the point of this new perception? Is it just to go sit on a mountaintop feeling peaceful? Not according to Zen. The final step of the journey is maybe the most radical one of all, bringing that wisdom back to everyone else.
This whole idea is captured perfectly in a famous Zen allegory called the 10 Cowherding Pictures. It's this beautiful series of images that tells the story of a farmer looking for his lost cow, where the cow is a symbol for our own true nature.
Now the farmer goes through this whole journey. He finds the cow, he tames it, and eventually he realizes that he and the cow were never separate to begin with. But the story doesn't end there, in some state of personal bliss. The 10th and final picture shows him back in the marketplace, hanging out with butchers and drunks, totally engaged in the messy business of life. And through this compassionate, ordinary connection, everyone is transformed.
And that, right there, is the ultimate message. Enlightenment isn't a private getaway car from the problems of the world. It's about returning to the very heart of it all with what the texts call bliss-bestowing hands, using your newfound clarity and compassion to help everyone right in the middle of the most mundane, everyday situations.
And that's the thought I want to leave you with. We're so often taught to look for wisdom in special, far-off places. But what if Zen is right? What if the most profound truths, the biggest awakenings, are waiting for us right here, in the simple, ordinary, everyday moments of our own lives, just waiting for that little hinge of our perception to shift?